Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Ardil and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about fixing a problem on a Lotus Emira. You would have noted, if you follow us for a long time, we have done a hell of a lot of these cars because we're the only people that can do what we do. This car is about to have the Cambridge Car experience.
Hi, I'm Ravan, and today we have yet another Lotus Emira in for a full sound system upgrade. Meaning we'll be upgrading the front stage, the rear stage, and the customer has opted for an active woofer. So without further ado, let's explain what's going in this vehicle.
So in front of me, I have all the products that will be going into our vehicle. Just before I get into that, I would just like to show you our job card that we have. This gives us a full description of exactly what we need and what will be going into our vehicle. So we always have our job card with us and we go through this job card as we do our installation. So we'll be doing a full Voce 2 setup in our Lotus. For our front stage, we have our Voce 2 tweeters that will be going into our A-pillars. And in our doors, what the Lotus normally has is just this little 4-inch speaker in the door. We take that out, we do our own custom 3D printed adapter. So in our doors, we will be putting our Voce 2 woofers. In our rear, there is no location for a tweeter in the rear. So we opted for the Audison Voce 2 coaxials that will be going into our rear compartment. And then the customer opted for an active woofer instead of a custom build. So we'll be putting this in place of this little kicker thing he has in there at the moment. That'll all come out and we'll be delivering good bass for him. So to power all of these speakers, we will be putting in our Forza 8-channel amplifier that'll amplify and control the sub also at the same time. So what we'll also be doing is we'll be adding our speaker water guards. This just helps protect the speaker from any water damage or any splashes getting onto the speaker. Then to control our full sound system, we have our DRC. So our system can be fully controlled by a touch of a button. So that will be going in the front location of our vehicle. This customer also wanted some soundproofing. So he opted for about 40 sheets of our skin soundproofing. So we'll cover areas mainly in the doors, around the sub area, and then on our floor too. A new thing that we've also been doing is custom seat belts. So the customer opted for a black color with yellow edging. So we'll be installing brand new seat belts for him too. So that is all our sound that will be going into our vehicle. So I'll meet you back downstairs and start stripping this vehicle out. So we've started stripping out our vehicle. As you can see, our seats are out and we removed our door cards off our doors. Just to speak a little bit about the subwoofer that the customer had installed. Just two things that I would like to bring up is the way the sub is secured. It's very loose. I can literally just pull on it and the sub will come off, which is not good if the customer gets into an accident or things like that. The sub will definitely detach itself from there. And then just a little thing about neatness. You know, we like to put tape on our wires. Everything needs to look as original as possible. The performance of these subs, they're not too bad. They give a little bit of a punchy bass, but it's not a nice booming bass that our Audison active sub will give. So we'll be taking this out and then we will continue stripping and I'll catch up with you guys later. So our soundproofing is completed on our vehicle. So now it's time to focus on our cable running and the installation of our speakers. So I've already made a start with our cable runs from the front stage. We will be locating our amp down in this compartment where the original sub was in. So this will come out, and in place of that we will be putting our 8-channel amplifier into there. So yeah, I will get started with my cables, continue, get everything down into there, and then we'll meet you later for the product mount.
There we have it, guys, another Emira complete. Hopefully you guys are loving today's video so far, but stay tuned because we've got so much more to show you. Now this section I'm going to be going through kind of the spec of the system, and then later on what we're going to be doing is actually listening to the final results with you guys, so you guys will be able to actually experience how good this car now sounds. Obviously on these cars, I don't know how many of them we've done so far, they sound incredibly poor. I've actually done a sound off video where I compare the KEF system over to the system we've been installing to basically give people a better understanding about what you're kind of getting when you have the factory system or what's actually there. The biggest misconception that happens is the fact that you think you've already got a tweeter already in place. Onside the A-pillar, basically what there is a tweeter location, or what seems to be a tweeter location. There is actually a location behind it, there is the grille, however there is no speaker behind that location. It is just a blank. What the system basically comprises of is a KEF mid-range that sits inside the door area, and then you've got a rear speaker which is about 5-inch in size, I think. Then you've got a factory sub that sits in the rear corner, and then you've got the amplifier, and that is the entirety of it. There's no mid-bass at the front of the car, there's no tweeter at the high of the car. Obviously the KEF design is quite a famous design in home hi-fi, and I kind of go through this in the sound off video because the KEF actual speaker is not a bad speaker at all, and it works relatively well, and that design works very well in home hi-fi setup where you've got the speakers kind of directed. We've got the speakers actually directed to you. Whereas in terms of the setup that in a car form, having no mid-bass towards the front of the car, having no tweeter higher up is all going to affect sound. That small speaker that's sat in that door card location just can't handle what the expectation is of a driver driving a system in a car. So what we do on this to solve that problem is we add the tweeter into that stock location, so it keeps that OEM stock look. But then what we actually do is the mid-bass drive, the mid-range that was there before, we actually have made a bespoke solution that allows us to install a 6.5-inch mid-bass driver into the original KEF location. This is actually still reversible, plus it utilizes that original KEF grille, which is really nice actually. Looks really smart in the car and matches in with the overall interior. So that's really nice that that's gone into there. Then we've actually made a custom mount as well for the 6.5-inch mid-bass conversion that we do at the back of the car, again utilizing those grills. The sub is the only thing that's really on display on these cars, and we've got a few different options of ways to do this. The factory sub is incredibly small and also shoved right into the corner of the driver's side. This doesn't help with bass transfer into the vehicle. It's incredibly poor quality and just not a great location for it as well. So what we do is we add a better sub in. So like on this car, we've added in the Lotus Emira sub. So this actually sits bolted down in position. The client decided to go down the route of the driver's side, but we can also do passenger or central, whichever you please. But the client opted to go down the route of the driver's side. for that actual sub. We actually recently, the last Emira we just did, which I don't know if that video is before this one or after, but the install we just did on another Emira, our team actually fabricated a custom box that sat in between the two seats. That looked really, really nice, allowed storage either side, and then all of the actual sub itself was in a custom enclosure, looked incredible, that sat in the middle. There's loads of different options depending on what your budget is and what you're after for your Emira, but this is a really popular solution, and you would have seen, if you're an avid fan of ours, you've watched all the other Emira videos that we've done, you would have noticed that we've used this solution quite a few times. I think on the last few I've put it behind here, and I've actually just booked another one in for a returning client that's having an Emira done as well, and we're building a custom sub box around a roll cage, which should be quite tricky and fun. But that's kind of the bass side of thing, and then the amplifier stage has gone into the factory location, so removing that KEF amplifier and adding in our amplifier. But our amplifier has the ability to add a DSP in, which means we're able to digitally analyze and EQ the entire system here. And what that basically means in layman's terms is it just sounds bonkers. We can correct, and the level of detail that we go to when doing so makes huge difference, because we can analyze everything that's going on inside that car. We can analyze all the issues that are coming out of that factory head unit and fix all of them prior to us amplifying that stage, and then we customize our own EQ and give our options to our clients via the Audison DRC AC controller, which we mounted up in the top seating area, which you'll probably see when I jump in the car to have a listen to it with you guys. But overall, a really cool solution, really happy with the final result. Client has also opted from our CBS Automotive brand to have a couple of other things while the car's in, including the yellow and black seat belts, which look really cool. We do quite a few different options while the car's stripped to be able to go through and offer different things to our client that they maybe haven't thought of before. But overall, another Lotus Emira complete with the Cambridge car audio treatment. It absolutely rocks in this car. So let's jump inside the car and have a listen. So this is the part you've all been waiting for. We're going to be listening to the final results of this system, and honestly, it sounds absolutely incredible. I've just listened to it prior to actually filming this, but it sounds incredible in here. So the reason why I'm sat in the passenger seat is because you guys are actually going to be listening while I shut up for a few minutes. You're going to be listening through my microphone setup that I've got to the right hand side of me. And the reason is because everything has been time aligned to be driver focused, because this system has a DSP in it we went through earlier. This means we can have full control over setup. We've got the DRC AC controller here, so we've got sub-level control. We've also got on here overall volume control. We've also got different presets available, so yeah, loads of stuff all controlled on here. It automatically reverts back to being yellow, which is really cool because it matches the rest of the car, obviously on the outside. So I'm just going to play a couple of tracks for you. You guys are going to absolutely love this. Obviously, if you're listening to this on like your mobile phone, you're never going to get the best results from listening to it, so you need to be listening to it on a really decent like hi-fi product, so either decent car hi-fi system, home hi-fi system, or a really good pair of headphones as well. So without further ado,
just say a prayer for my city. Just say a prayer for my city. Believe in God to kneel down with me. Say a prayer for my city. Just say a prayer for my city. Say a prayer for my city. My granny house is gone. My sister house is gone. We done lost it all. All them childhood memories turn to ashes as they fall.
so clear in here now.
Invited, I get excited when nobody knows me. In my head, you're on the outside. I'm better when I shine. The crystals inside me. In my head.
could say anything, but it could mean everything, 'cause you said it to the
So incredible, isn't it?
You tell him he's all you see. Tell him you got his keys, 'cause you thought he needed them.
We haven't even talked, still I'm obsessed with you. Was it your milky eyes or your skin? I don't know. Doesn't matter anyway, 'cause I'm never letting you go. You're on my screen like a monumental totem, a beam of light. You rise above the dark, and I don't mean to be a whistleblower, but I know.
I mean, that is absolutely incredible. Another Emira that we've completed. I don't know how many of these we've done so far, or how many we're actually going to end up doing, because they sound horrific from stock, and now they sound absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't done so already, if you're an owner of an Emira and you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you go check out all of the other Emiras that we've done. Just search for Emira on our channel and you'll find loads of different videos to give you some different ideas about different specs that we've done on them before. So thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.